Alright, welcome everybody. We are back. It's Zenith Online Racing. It's Tier 1. It's Monday evening. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. You know what the deal is. We're here for some racing. 16 cars here tonight. Jinnit, the only reserve. Adri, I believe, now a full-time driver, but not here for the race tonight. It doesn't appear. Alongside me, once again, it's Puff Digital. Welcome back.
Yes, glad to be here after my my week on track last week. Figured I'd get in there and mix it in and see how I could do, but I'm glad to have the night off and be doing some commentating.
Yeah, no doubt. Great track, Austria. I really enjoy the races here. I enjoy the circuit quite a bit personally. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely one of the ones I'm better at. And the weather's looking sharp here for quali. Dry qualifying, wet race. All right. Let's go. Wet race. So that's going to be fun. So it's just a shootout here for pole position now. Short lap. I think everybody's going to get 4 runs in. You wouldn't know the weather coming in, so anyone who brought 4 sets of softs has got a bit of an advantage now.
Yeah, I think the strat in the dry anyways is a soft to medium, so it would have been easy, or would have been likely that most guys would have probably opted for the extra set of softs, but especially around a track too, where you can get 4 laps in, so.
Audio was turned up a bit there, the stream in the background. So, yeah, not as many cars as we would hope for Tier 1. We're having a bit of a roster juggle at the moment. A couple guys leaving, filling some spots here. Jinnit's moved to Tier 2. He's dropping some assists. Going to challenge himself a little bit more. Had a good result Thursday, so now he's back here in Tier 1, and he's going to be driving without those assists still here in Tier 1 tonight. So we'll see how he stacks up with that Tier 1 pace. He left the tier, presumably, thinking he'd be well off the pace. Looked pretty good on Thursday, but definitely in the mix with some of our on-pace guys in Tier 2, so I don't think he's like, he's not too quick for Tier 2 at the moment, but he's mixing it up already with us, so.
Yeah, if there's another car into the mix, definitely someone who fight for podiums, stunts on Tier 1, so yeah, spices up Tier 2, and I know you mentioned earlier Adri will be stepping in. If you've watched any of the past broadcasts, you've likely seen him reserving in Tier 1, and he now officially has a full-time seat, so interesting stuff. Camden, the only man with the time on the board so far, a 104.144.
Yeah, so Adri won't have brought any points along with him for the seat he's taking because he is a full-time driver in the EU tier as well. So that means that he's starting from scratch here, despite the fact that he's driven in almost all of the Tier 1 races.
Yeah. As IRO Dylan makes his triumphant return this week, actually. Full team at Haas once again, and a 103.6 to put him on provisional pole. Fuzz with a solid lap into the 103s as well, so.
Yeah, nice run there. I gotta admit, I was checking some quality, doing some quality control, and missed all of those laps. But look at these times: 104.12, 104.13, 104.13, 101. Oh, sorry, 104.14. That is insane.
Very, very competitive there. I mean, honestly, 2 through 7.
Yeah.
But especially 3 through 7 and 4 through 7 is just insane.
That is very close. Look at those times.
Incomprehensible amounts of time.
Yeah, it really is. It's, you know, a slight compression of the throttle is the difference there.
Yeah, I'm on board with Doth right now. He's coming through Sector 2 this last week, back again in Ferrari after his win in Canada. The stewards had a Packer a penalty, and Doth did get his first win of the season for Canada,
yeah.
So
unfortunately didn't get to celebrate it as a win, but I'm sure he'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what you can do here. Crossing the line. Ooh, and a 104 flat. So again, there's really not much separating any of these drivers aside from Dylan at the moment.
Here comes Aero Strike, the 105.3. I guess he's just starting his first lap. Oh, he just gets away with that. He looked like he almost cut that corner. But no, he must have put that time. Maybe that time wasn't validated because he's very low on battery here.
Yeah.
Appears
He may have tried to back off, but he does, have the battery turned up.
He is pushing, so we'll stay on board with Aero. I think maybe he was invalidated last lap. Honestly, this is a pretty easy tire track. I think you can get away with doing 2 laps on a set of softs. It's not like it's his final run anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Just something to get a time on the board. Runs a bit wide on the apex. You can take a few lines through there. Very aggressive on corner entry using a lot of the curb. Took that section completely nicely. These 2 final corners very easy to invalidate. So hugs a lot of the inside curb, and this is the apex quite nicely. So I don't think it'll be good enough for pole, but definitely,
Right in there.
just behind his teammate. So, I mean, double podium for Red Bull last week, and the 2 of them so far looking quite strong.
So, do we have anybody on? I see someone coming around the tail end of
We
the
have
lap here. It's
Bobby.
Moglis. He's on an out lap.
We have Bobby on a hot lap. Coming down the downhill, right-hander. Pops up a bit, but does nice on the throttle quite early there. Again, bit of a lockup. Little untidy on the exit of that one turn, and just barely gets his tire out of
They are
lines
very
there.
strict
They are
around here.
aggressive Codemasters in policing.
So here
Track
comes
limits.
the championship leader, Packer. He is on an outlap. That outlap was a 103.7. That's what it said anyway. I don't know how accurate that was, but if that's his outlap, look out for your pole position. Provisional pole lap coming up here. But Packer leading the championship. He's looked quite dominant at times, so we're going to ride on board with Packer for the rest of this lap. Just making his way through Sector 2 at the moment.
Again, very aggressive, using a lot of curb for corner entry. To help with the angle, you attack the corner there, and you hear him lock up yet again.
Purple, yet again.
Yeah, aggressive on the exit too. Dylan,
103
flat. That
is this going into the 102s for Packer? This could be. Oh, he's invalidated.
And he invalidates on the exit. What would it have been? A 103.3.
I think he probably lost a bit as well. It seemed like he kind of missed that final apex, so.
Yeah. We've got Fuzz coming around the line for what would be his second lap, and a 103.5, so a good improvement, but I mean, still half a second off of IRO Dylan.
Here's T-Money on a flyer. Let's ride on board with T-Money. I feel like T-Money's had a pretty quiet season in general. We haven't really seen him scrapping too much near the front, just kind of running around collecting points. But T-Money, definitely one of the quicker drivers. Dropped some assists for this season. Just kind of squeaked into Tier 1 there. And has been steadily improving, but hasn't really made an impact yet. But surely it's only a matter of time before T-Money starts snagging some podiums here and there.
Yeah, I agree. Runs a bit wide there to invalidate his lap, but a very steady driver. Doesn't find himself caught up in too many incidents all that often, and
just Doth on a flyer here. It is. Doth goes purple in Sector 2. He's up 300ths, which actually could give him a few places here, to be honest, but you could see Doth move into the top 4 here. See what he does in the final corner. Looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, looks pretty tidy. And yeah, gets into the 103s. So nice lap, and again, very competitive.
GP.
Not much separate.
It really is GP's lap 104.4. That's a pretty good lap time, but it's just so tight through the field that he puts him down in 12th rather than, you know, near the top 10.
Yeah.
Or
Got
inside the top
Arrow.
10.
setting up a another quality lap here, a hot lap. Just coming across start finish. There he does again, very aggressive. Maybe could have taken a bit more of the apex, but
We got a Zimoglis fan in the chat there. Like it should be one, cheering for Zimoglis. Zimoglis had a pretty rough week, weathering some, like, a literal storm.
Yes.
And now he is out here on track racing. A brave soul, a hero to most, a villain to some, Zimoglis.
And he does dive out of the way of Arrow. Gave Arrow a really nice tow down that straight, and yeah, well done. Arrow, very aggressive. Taking the apex and maybe... I think he was up after the first sector, but not by a lot.
He's about a 10th up, it said, there for Sector 2.
Yeah, I missed the second sector, so we'll see what he can do again. Very nicely through the final few turns.
7, so Arrow strike into 4th. Doth must have done another run there and squeaked another 10th or 2 out of that run, because now he is 3rd. Someone off there in the wall, or is that just someone pulled over?
I don't see any yellow flags. I would assume just someone's pulled over.
So these times are very competitive. Dylan well ahead of everyone else, but we suspect Packer, once he gets a lap on the timing sheets, will be on provisional pole. I think he's going to have to hit the 102s really if he wants another pole position here. So
yeah, on board with Zimoglis.
Okay.
He's coming from sector 2. We'll give screen time for his fans.
Hit
up
that donate
2 tenths.
Zem fans.
Up 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths really through the second sector. So this should put him on the front row. If you can add another bit of time to the final sector. And
nice and aggressive there, early on the throttle. Looks good. There he is, second place for Zem. Great run.
Lost actually a bit of time, just a fraction in the third sector. So if he can hook up all 3, I'd like to bet he's got some more time in there.
Here comes Packer finishing up sector 2 at the moment. See what he can do. We're expecting a potential 102 lap here. That would be a first for ZOR, I believe.
Yeah, that would definitely be his ZOR track record.
Let's see.
I think last game a 104 was very impressive. Very aggressive. Takes a lot of that sausage curb.
103.2. Jeez, it looks quicker.
Yeah,
Dylan with a stellar lap, though. He's got 2 tenths in hand over his teammate Packer.
That's going to be very difficult to beat.
Got a Red Bull coming around. Is that Arrow Strike? Now he's heading into the pits. And I believe that is Zem also heading into the pits. How about that McLaren?
Looks like he's on a lap. Oh,
GP Colin on a lap. He is the closest to the finish line at the moment. So we'll go with GP Colin, and then you say Camden behind him. Also
Camden
on a lap.
was
We'll
already
try to get to him.
Yeah, Camden was already on his. Oh, never mind. He's behind. Yeah. So he had a pretty shaky exit out of, I guess they call it turn 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he's abandoned this one.
GP definitely going for it.
Yeah. Maybe he could have carried a bit more speed through the final corner there. We'll see what he's able to do.
That's 12th.
Yeah, he does improve 3.5 tenths, but yeah, it just puts him right behind his teammate there, Team Money.
As you mentioned, into the pits.
Yeah, it looked like he... You have Beck, though, just starting his flying lap. I believe last week, was that his first points?
He's gone wide. Yeah. His first points last week. He finished 4th, I think, after penalties, maybe 5th, but finally got some points on the board after what he's been pacey all season, just hasn't actually secured a result.
Yeah. And I think actually historically, in years past, this has been a pretty strong track for Beck. So
yeah,
somewhat surprised to see him in 13th. He should have enough time to get another run. But yeah, the nature of this track. So we do have a lot of cars now leaving the pit lane.
On board with Zyg right now, the Ferrari driver sitting 10th currently. He's
Yep.
right in the mix there with that midfield chunk, 60-10th, very close. So we'll see what Zyg can find on this run. See if he can get up there with his teammate Doth. Maybe the two of them can run together, look for some big points here.
Yeah, you can see him short shifting there through turn 3. A little squirrely on the exit.
Ooh, who is using a wet setup? Good point.
Yeah.
Aero strike. Driver and race strategy extraordinaire. Aero
Pit
strike.
lane
Weather reporter.
commentator. Yeah.
He's kind of everything. The unsung hero of ZOR, let's be honest.
Yeah, he holds this place together. But,
Yeah. Oh, Zyg,
Is that
that
boots on my
big
board?
understeer there, but just gets the car rotated in time. And this looks
lot
like a
of
good run.
speed. Yeah, that was a lot of speed.
103.6. That's a great lap from Zyg. Where is
Yeah.
his teammate going to come in? We've got Mr. Joshua crossing the line for his hot lap. We have a Haas driver behind. That is Packer. Packer on an out lap as well. Let's get to the next car. Is it Beck? Is it JX? It is JX. So I believe, is Doth on track? He is. Doth is
Doth's
going
on a
for it here.
hot lap.
Oh,
Yeah.
Doth nearly
Oh.
loses it.
Yeah, good correction, but that's going to cost him.
Yeah, that lap is not going to be enough. He's going to have to go for another run. He does
Yeah.
have just enough time to cool the batteries a tad and get around for another go. He doesn't need to push too hard, but he can't really afford to slow down much. Doth, we'll see if he makes it back around in time. Do we have another driver on a lap currently? T-Money. T-Money improves, but he's still 11th. So
Yeah.
McLaren's a little off the pace here today, not getting into that top 10. There's Fuzz. I think he's just starting his lap. It looks like he is giving a tow to his teammate here, Aerostrike. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Very well could be. That tow could be massive for Aerostrike.
Yeah.
Stay on board with Aero because we can see Fuzz up ahead as well. This is 2 hot laps for the price of 1. Fuzz does look like he is giving a tow to Aero here. I think he's going to have to get out of the way.
He's not on a hot lap. Yeah.
No, yeah, great.
Great teamwork there by the Red Bull drivers.
Aero with a big lockup, though, very well could have negated any advantage he gained down that straight. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll
what
be
he can
curious
do
to
here.
see if he tries to return the favor. We've got Fuzz now him behind him trying to
Fuzz
keep
will
up.
run out of time, though. He cannot get.
Oh,
another lap
yeah.
in.
So, stay on board with Aero, I suppose, then. See what he can do. Only up 5 1,000s. So, not a big improvement.
Very aggressive there, and it
aggressive.
pays off.
Yeah. Taking that sausage curb, and wow. Pips his teammate. Probably
Yeah.
thanks to his teammate. So,
Yeah, very funny.
see if Aero repays that favor in the race.
Comes Mr.
Cars are
Joshua.
about to start.
He's invalidated. Mr. Joshua is done. Here comes
Coming across,
Dylan.
fast and
Dylan
furious.
invalidates. He's
Oh,
done.
and Camden's hit Doth.
Here comes Packer. Is it going to be a 102? No, it's a 103.1. It isn't pole.
so
Dylan
close.
takes pole.
Camden, though, ran into Doth on his final run.
Unbelievable stuff there. Oh, Zem with a big moment. He has gone round, pushing for everything he can, and he's into the barrier. Zem done for quali. He will start third. Yeah, I guess he is starting third. I doubt anyone behind is going to get up that far. So that's it for quali. Everybody back on an outlap for some bizarre reason, but everybody pretty much done here. So it's Dylan after a extended vacation, it
gone
seems,
into the
comes
wall.
back and takes it is pole. It's not provisional anymore. He was on provisional pole for most of the session there, but Dylan, the 103 flat, takes pole. Packer tucked in just behind with a 103.1. Zem is third. Aerostrike is fourth. Fuzz in fifth. Camden sixth. Zyg is seventh. Eighth for Doth. The Ferrari team and the Red Bull team running together. The Haas team running out front together. Ryan in ninth. Mr. Joshua 10th. T-Money 11th. GP 12th. JX 13th. Beck 14th. Bobby 15th. And Jinnit is 16th. Obviously the reserve driver. So all those guys qualified on the softs. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be running a wet race here today. We don't know if it's inters or wets, but we will find out.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well.
Um,
I don't think we've had a full wet
usually,
Tier 1 race
yeah,
for a while.
usually we're racing in them. It's nice to see the fortunes swing the other way around. I can't recall the last wet race start that we've called. So,
And we'll keep an eye on the lobby as well and make sure nobody readies up too early, because that does come with
yes,
a 10-second time penalty now. And that's what cost Packer the win in Canada.
yes.
So,
Um, it's something we like to do. Just a few minutes, let guys get out of the chair, go to the washroom, let commentators grab a drink. Certain
yeah,
things.
that's not what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no.
So, we try not to be too strict about it, but it has been an ongoing issue in Tier 1, so
Hmm.
just tried to mitigate that. It does look pretty wet.
Looks
Just want to
extremely wet.
throw that out there.
This looks like it's going to be potentially an entirely wet race. I don't think that it doesn't look like one of those. I guess it's a pretty long race though. Um,
Yeah, and we've seen in this year, weather can change. Sorry, excuse me, quite drastically and quite quickly.
yeah,
Um,
it's definitely potential. I mean, the weather can change, especially at Austria. We've seen it before in real life. I'm assuming it's quite possible in the game. But I will say those are some very gray clouds. It does look like this is going to be a wet tire start and perhaps inters at some point, but I'm not sure that we're going to actually get any dry running in here.
yeah, so
Funny
obviously
enough,
big factor, no DRS, but sorry to interrupt.
funny enough, it is a very short lap and tends to lead to a pretty short race. Um, but with the wet weather, it's going to slow things down a little bit, so the race will be a little bit longer than we anticipated. It usually is one of our shortest races on the calendar. Usually, I think it comes in under 40 minutes most times.
Yeah, now we'll see lap times. I don't know, it's hard to guess. I'd guess probably like
Full
120s.
inters, Aerostrike says full inters for the race.
All enters. Okay. Um, I don't know. Do you
Does anyone
prefer
pit?
winter conditions over wet? I think yeah. I think you'll see most guys pit. I wouldn't be surprised if guys try to take them the full race, but
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be able to make it. And depending on how confident you are in the wet, I personally wouldn't want to be running on the same set of tires for an entire race. Um,
No, I think it's a relatively quick pit stop here as well, and we're more than likely going to see a safety car at some point,
yeah,
just given the fact that I know the walls are pretty far, but it is pissing rain, so
yeah, and there's definitely a few spots. I mean, the entire second sector, the downhill bit, pretty easy to go off. Obviously, it's a long way to the wall, but the speed you carry through there, you can really, really drift off. Turn one as well, you punch the throttle too early, and all of a sudden you're going into the inside barrier. And so Fuzz has started it. He is the race director. All good in
did
that sense,
you
so no
did you want to run
penalties.
through the standings while we're going through formation lap?
Yeah, I'll bring those up in a sec. Just updated before the race even, so hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
uh, Leading the championship, we have IOR Packer with 135 points. In second, after his big win last week, we have Aerostrike with 124. That gap only down to 11 points, so um,
Sure.
definitely still a lot to play for. In
Aerostrike
third, we
starting
have
fourth
Camden.
here.
Yeah, so wet race too. A lot can happen, a lot of unpredictability. A lot of guys who maybe have pace in the dry, not so much in the wet. But Camden in third, 99 points. In fourth, ZOR, Mr. Joshua with 87 points. Fifth, Doth Thou Hoist with 74. Sixth is Ryan with 62. Right behind him is his running teammate, James Bowles with 62. In eighth, IOR Dylan, the man on pole today with 48 points. In ninth, we have IXR Vitality with 37 points. In 10th, Zamoglis, also at 37 points. 11th, Charlie. He's not here today. He has 33 points. Buzz in 12th obviously joined last week as a official full-time driver with 27 points. Had a podium last week too, so good showing. 13th we have Matthew Dernio with 25, JXW in 14th with 24, Zyke in 15th with 18, GP Colin with 18, Beck with 12, T-Money with 11, and Bobby and Adri both with 0. So, Adri obviously the newest T1 member. Couldn't make this race because of holidays, so hope he's having fun, and will likely be here next week. And then the constructors tied for first, Haas and Red Bull with 183 points. In third we have Racing Point 136, Renault with 125, Mercedes with 112, Ferrari 92, Alfa Romeo 74, Alpha Tauri with 36, Williams with 33, and McLaren with 29. So I actually like the spread of that. A lot of battles throughout the table. Obviously no real money on the line in the video game. But,
We're too broke for that.
Yeah. But very interesting stuff. I know the table to look like that in real life. A lot of the team principals are telling their drivers to get on with it. A few points can make a big difference. So.
All right, the grid is reforming. You see Iro Dillon taking pole position. Iro Packer pipped by his teammate here for the first time in a while. But it's a wet race. The grid is set. The lights are ready to come on. We are ready to go racing here in Austria. We've got 3, 4, and 5 lights are on. And away we go. Great
Looks
start.
Like a pretty good jump from Camden in the back a bit there.
Aerostrike with a great start. Gets up into third. Can he maintain it? Oh, he bumps into Zamoglis. That was very tight there. But it looks like Aero did get the better run. Camden with a great stretch here. What can he do? He's trying to go around the inside on both cars. 3 wide here into turn 4, I guess it is. And it looks like they've all gone off the road. Camden's going to have the best traction here as he stayed on track. And Camden up into third. Great start for Camden.
A lot of movement throughout the field. Still, Fuzz has dropped a few positions, going side by side with Zamoglis. And everything looks clean throughout the field.
Ferraris
we do have
are
a
off.
Ferrari. Ferrari is off. He has come back on, but dropped quite a few places. That is Zyg. Now side by side with JXW going into the corner here. Both drivers do well to hang it in there.
Side by side with Mr. Joshua as well. Very tricky place to do that, and especially in the wet. Great driving from both guys there.
Zyg also now getting a run on Ryan, going into the
Still side by side.
corner.
Doth runs very wide, and he has to yield that place to Josh. Great stuff there from both drivers, leaving plenty of space for each other. Here comes Aerostrike. He is charging down the inside. Oh, Camden. Aerostrike has got it. I think the timing charts are just messed up there.
Yeah.
Aerostrike and Camden side by side here. Here goes Aero down the inside. Can he get it done? Big lockup for both drivers. And they both get good exits here. This is going to be side by side once more. Dylan with a great start. He's got 2 seconds on his teammate already. Aerostrike with an aggressive sweep down the inside. Can Camden do anything? No, he can't. Aero takes the place. Great stuff in these first 2 laps from these guys. Fuzz doing well to steady the ship there in 5th, and now is able to start coming forward and attack Camden.
We've got Doth off a bit, loses a few places. Just one actually to Team Money, who's 8th now. So
Aerostrike and Fuzz looking like in a very good spot for some big points here for Red Bull if they can hang on to this.
Aero. The timing is so messed up. I'm saying he's 1/10 behind Packer. Not sure.
Yeah, the timing is a little bit off, but if you look at the track here, we are looking at Packer from the broadcast view, and his teammate is nearly out of sight out front. Dylan, with a thunderous start here, has built a 2.3 second lead already on lap 3. Maybe the better driver in the wet, it would appear so at the moment. We don't know if Packer is perhaps managing his tires with no real threat from behind. He could just be taking his time.
Yeah. Always a marathon, and in these conditions, you can't always take a few laps to kind of get into a rhythm, find your groove. We do have Mr. Joshua thinking about making a late move on Zimoglis. Not able to get it done, but there is a train now starting to form behind Zimoglis.
Let's check in with this midfield action. The front is a little slow at the moment. We have quite a battle going on here. Zimoglis leading this train. He's got Joshua, T-Money, Doth, Zyg, Ryan, JXW, GP Colin, Beck, Jinnit, all within DRS range.
Oh, and Ryan's retired. I'm not sure what's happened there, but we do have a safety car.
Ryan
we'll
is
see if
out.
Bobby can find his vehicle. Looks like I missed it, but it seems possible. What is that? Turn 7 and 8.
Yeah,
He's
it's
gone
an
off
easy
there.
place to lose it. I don't understand. It looks like his car is quite close to the edge of the track. But Dylan's great launch there, great lead at the beginning has evaporated now. Does anyone consider pitting? I don't know if there's an advantage to doing it so early.
Yeah, I would think most guys would just opt to hold position.
Yeah, I don't think there's no DRS. Well, the overtakes are going to be a little more difficult without the DRS. And I don't see the advantage. You know, like at this point, you put a fresh set of inters on, you're still not going to get to the end comfortably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you can, but comfortably, no. So why throw away 4 laps of tire life for, you know, you're going to run around in the midfield now and risk damaging your car just to be 4 laps fresher than anyone else? It's not really worth it.
Yeah. So the restart will definitely be interesting. Keeping heat in these tires. Oh,
Zimoglis. Oh my.
Drive-through penalty. Those have plagued him all season. Tough break.
And he can't even serve it until we go green again. That is a disaster for Zimoglis here.
Yeah, and it looks like Doth's gone off. 5 seconds
Doth,
for a collision.
Severe collision. So he must have run into
and
the back.
JX is also off track as well. So and JX gets absolutely clobbered by Bobby Tava. JX seems to have let him go through.
Disastrous safety car here. Everyone is crashing into one another. Doth has had to pit. His race has gone from, well, it wasn't even bad, but it's gone.
Mr. Joshua also pits.
Serves that penalty.
He also served, yeah. So
needed that wing.
Also serving a penalty.
I'm not sure who was where. Perhaps Joshua had sent Doth off the track and hit him from behind because he had wing damage. Joshua, I don't understand how he would have got wing damage. If it was Doth that had hit the back of him, you know.
Bobby and JX also serving penalties.
At this
getting
point,
new wings.
Yeah, you might as well just erase them. Obviously, it cost Joshua a bit, but Doth, JX, and Bobby were already at the back. They might as well. You might as well erase the 5-second penalty, even though if you didn't deserve it, it's not worth carrying.
Yeah.
When it's a safety car. So, rain looks pretty relentless, I will say. I don't see any bright spots in the sky. It's dark clouds all around.
Yeah, a lot of spray. You can see a lot of standing water.
Yeah, the rain is coming down pretty heavily, and we did see a couple safety cars from our race in France last week while it was raining.
Yeah.
And suddenly the rain picked up a tad, and it was time for wet tires because the track, like the dry line you're seeing here, was basically non-existent on Thursday. It evaporated while we were racing. Well, ironically, it didn't evaporate, but it disappeared on us, and it started to become quite dangerous on the inters. So we went to the wets. I made a terrible decision pitting to the softs too early, but yeah, you live, you learn. We still got some points.
Yeah. It was
sitting 6th here after all that. I mean, well, actually, he hasn't served that penalty yet. So.
Yeah, still has.
And then behind GP is quite a gap. So these guys all pit. These guys have gone on to fresh inters. Beck, Josh, Jinnit, Doth. Obviously, these guys pit anyways. But some of these guys making a strategy call here and deciding to put the fresh tires on. If we do go racing this lap, they have 5 laps in their pocket advantage. that could be the difference between getting to the end or not. So maybe a good idea, but ultimately, I really don't think that there was much of an advantage to putting a fresh set of inters on
Yeah, I think
during the
most
safety car.
guys
Maybe
probably,
if it was lap 10.
Yeah, I think most guys probably fixing their wings.
Doth has picked
As
up a penalty
Doth,
now for cutting corners under the safety car.
yeah,
It's just
bad
unfortunate.
to worse.
And the safety car is
Doth.
not in this lap, so yeah. I mean, let's be honest though, 3 of these laps
Does
on
Doth
these...
have wing damage again as he's gone off track here?
No, his wings seem okay. Maybe just for getting those tires recovered.
Understeered like crazy.
Perhaps having a wheel problem?
Rough. Potentially, yeah. Very rough go for Doth so far. Luckily, he should still be able to catch up to the field. Zomoglis is pit. And
He's trying to serve that penalty. I bet he's trying to serve that penalty and didn't know.
I think he did. And I think it gave him new tires.
Yeah, you
He's
can't
going
serve
to
a
have to
penalty
go
under
through-
safety car conditions, so...
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he didn't know that. Thought, okay, I'll do it on this lap. Right before we go racing, right? Get his tires nice and warm.
Yeah. And yeah, that might have been a unfortunate error on his part.
Yeah, he's gonna have to serve that still. Very unfortunate error because he's given up even more ground.
Yeah. And safety car is in this lap.
Alright, we are almost ready to go green once again. Dylan is in the lead still. Packer is right on his tail now. See if Packer can hang on without all the chaos of a race start. And a bit of a gap there to Arrow. Arrow leaving some space, just trying to be safe here. He's just closing in a little bit. I'm not liking these angles I'm getting, so...
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of, like, wide angle.
Close-ups. They're getting, like, really, like, close-ups of one car, and it's like, what? That's not what we're looking for here. So, we're about to go racing. It looks like Dylan has hit the gas.
Yeah.
And there we are, green, as soon as they cross the line here. Let's see how they do. Big bobble there from Packer. Arrow strike looking pretty sharp here. He's got a good launch on Camden. So Arrow trending towards the front rather than backwards. Behind, we have the McLaren of T-Money pressuring Fuzz. Looks like a pretty solid start for everybody here. I don't see too much action going on. And we are green once again. Dylan with a great launch there. He's got 1.5 in the bank already. Where Packer will now be under threat from Aerostrike, Camden, and the rest of the gang behind. So that's going to be tough for Packer. He's now going to have to fight off a train of cars. Can he do anything to regain the gap he had over Arrow, or is that slipstream he's given to Arrow going to cost him dearly?
Yeah, we'll see if Arrow can hang around. It's a pretty crucial point of the race, I'd say. Strategies are going to start coming in.
Joshua, I think, had a moment here. GXW has gotten by him.
See what he can do. Arrow losing slight amounts of time. T-Money doing well to stick with Fuzz as well. Finds himself in 6th, so a really good opening portion of this race for T-Money.
Here goes Zem, I believe, into, he's serving his drive-through now, so it's disaster for Zomoglis here in Austria. It's lap 9 now. Dylan in the lead, Zomoglis at the very back of the field, serving a drive-through penalty. That's very unfortunate. He's got to pray for a safety car here to get at least back to the field.
With
Not
that being
too
said,
much
though,
action
we're
at the front, but
one quarter
behind.
of the way through this race, so definitely a lot of time for some incidents.
JXW all over his teammate Beck here. He's very close. You can hear that tire squealing as he looks for traction, but he cannot find enough. Beck gonna hold that place for now. Doth behind, pressuring Mr. Joshua. The two of those guys tangled under safety car, now racing under green flag. Let's see if they get a little shovey between the two of them. Bumping wheels there. A little bit pissed off about the fact that they made contact under safety car. Still not entirely sure what happened there, but Arrow just keeping touch with Packer. I will say the rain looks like it's let up a tad here. It is getting a bit brighter down the front straight here.
Yeah, as Dylan puts in the fastest lap, 13.4, 13.5 essentially.
So we could be heading towards a drier race. We don't know if we'll make it to the slick tires, but does look like the rain is letting up a bit.
Yeah, we have Team Money really pressuring Fuzz right now. I don't know if he'll be close enough for a move into turn 3 here, but if he can get a good exit, you should be able to get a good run into turn 4. And it looks like Fuzz did get the better exit. Team Money is gaining, but it won't be enough as we have another car off. Looks like Bobby. Yes, it's Bobby. Looks like he's going into the wall there. Is missing his right end plate, so unfortunate for Bobby.
JX and Beck nearly side by side here. Beck really holding his teammate up here. Really should, and he's got a penalty for doing it as well. 3 seconds there, multiple warnings.
Yeah.
He very probably should just let JXW through at this point, but I mean, there's still 2 racing drivers at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Joshua's penalty, that's a rare sight. Here comes Doth with a great exit. Doth is going to get by Mr. Joshua here. There he goes. Doth making up some ground, so starting his road to recovery here. We'll get back to 5th and 6th. Fuzz still under pressure from T-Money here. Zog starting to close in on them as well. So
yeah,
we see an interesting little scrap developing here. GP Colin not too far behind his teammate T-Money either in 8th, so we do have a lot of the field very close together here.
Slowly gaining on Dylan. I think that gap was about 2 seconds, down to 1.5, so...
See how that pans out in a lap or 2. Behind Beck and JXW, a little bit of space between those two now as they close on GP Colin. Won't be long before GP will start to catch the back of T-Money and Zyg, who are now certainly being held up by Fuzz. This is going to get really interesting. I'm enjoying this race quite a bit. The wet weather is making it quite difficult for drivers to find a way through, so we're seeing a lot of... the DRS is almost ridiculous here with 3 straights in a row. And without the DRS, it's making it a bit more competitive.
Fuzz is actually within a second of Camden, so...
Here comes GXW. Beck must have had a very bad exit. GXW very close to his teammate there. GXW with a big power slide, and he's got on the power, but it's not enough. Doth is closing as well now. Doth smells blood. He's looking to strike.
Big lockup from JX there, but...
Beck struggling for traction. JXW is all over him, and JXW may have found his way through here. This is going to be very close. Side by side here. JX is through.
Yeah. Really couldn't do much to defend there. We'll see now if he can continue to make his way through the field. As Fuzz is also really, really pressuring Camden at the moment.
So Camden is actually sort of the cork in the bottle here. Fuzz was, but he's dragged these other cars up there with him, and now he's got a threat behind from T-Money while he's trying to find a way through on Camden ahead.
Dylan out front has got that gap back to 2 seconds.
So 4 cars now very close together. Zog is closing in on this battle.
We have Beck struggling to hang on to his teammate as Doth now. Ever closer with the gearbox.
Here comes T-Money. He's got a great exit on Fuzz here. Can he do something with it? Oh, they touch. Ooh. There is contact there. Oh, Fuzz with a... He smacked T-Money hard there. He's lucky he didn't go round. So T-Money takes the place. He probably... T-Money probably deserved that place, but T-Money goes very deep. He's giving Fuzz a chance back at it. Fuzz had to get out of that, though, because that car was going around if he even thought about touching the gas pedal.
Yeah. So we'll see now if Camden gets a bit of a reprieve. Maybe he gets to relax slightly, but relax too much, and I think he's going to find T-Money dragging these guys back up behind him. So We'll see if Fuzz can hang on. He was pressuring Camden, so as long as he stays calm, again, we're not even halfway through this race. There is a lot left to play for.
And we could see some changing conditions as well by the time this thing's all said and done.
Possible pit stops coming in the next few laps as well, as we do inch closer to the halfway point. Maybe some guys thinking of an undercut. Obviously you're going onto the same tires, so the performance won't be from changing compounds, but strictly from
Doth.
Rubber.
Riding on the left shoulder of Doth as he is attacking Beck ahead, but he's not going to be close enough here. Oh, big moment! Beck has gone round. Or it's JX, sorry. JXW has gone round. Has he collected his teammate as well? He has. So Doth has gone through. I saw a rotated AlphaTauri car, and I believe it was JXW, and Beck had been collected by him. So, disaster for that team, running so close together.
Beck sends it into the pit wall. He's on the grass. Oh, no. Oh, he tried to punch it.
Oh, man.
He's trying to keep on the throttle.
He really needs to get off the throttle. Oh, man. He's nearly taking his wheel off there. What is he doing? Man, it's like...
just ice skating at the moment.
Alright, he seems to have got it under control. Very luckily. I thought he was done for there, and he just very stubbornly would not get off the gas. Oh my, that was great. There it goes. Oh, Beck's still sliding around here. Got nearly half his wing is gone, so not surprising he's struggling for traction here.
We do have Team Money now within a second of Camden. Fuzz also within a second of Team Money, so the scrap here.
So Dylan's just put in the fastest lap, but Packer's still keeping that gap at around 2 seconds.
Yeah. And they are increasing the gap behind to Arrow, so if you're Arrow, I mean, would this not be the opportunity to start thinking about an undercut?
Yeah, because we may not even need to run Inters to the end of the Grand Prix anyways. Like, it's entirely possible that you can get the maximum life out of them by pitting right now. We'd end up on dries at the end.
Yellow flag, so, I mean, safety car could be possible. I mean, I don't know. It's a gamble. You stay out.
But, yeah, that undercut, at least to Packer, is potentially on with a 3-second gap.
Yeah.
To Dylan, it's a bit of a tall order, but if he does it now, he might actually be able to find the pace and actually pull it off. Because we know that they can only pit one at a time, those two Haas cars. They can't go in together. So Aerostrike can jump on at least one of them.
Does stay out, so... I assume most guys probably still have decent enough tire life. I can't imagine it's gotten drastic by this point. But there are some guys just really fight over tenths of a lap here, tenths of a second, sorry. Money keeping tabs on Camden and Fuzz. Oh, yeah, these guys are just trading a tenth, it seems, every corner, so...
Yeah, we are starting to see a bit of field spread here. We're seeing those gaps slightly increasing between all the drivers. Really, the rain has really let up here. It does not look nearly as heavy as it was at the start. And I do see a lot more bright clouds. We could be looking at a potential dry finish to this race. I'm thinking maybe 10 laps time we could see a crossover point. We really do need it to stop raining
and
on the
we
next
have
lap or two.
it looks like Beck has DNF'd. VSC.
It's a VSC to either Haas car pit. It looks like Dylan's going for it. Dylan is going for the pits. Packer's going to follow him in.
Going for it.
No, Packer stays out. Aerostrike has to pit now. Aerostrike has to pit. He can get Packer here.
Yeah.
Aerostrike going in, yes. So once they return to green flag racing, Packer going to be extremely disadvantaged here. They are still under VSC. Yeah, everyone should behind if they're the front car in their team.
Team Money, Fuzz, both in. Fuzz should have had enough of a gap to
time,
Arrow.
I think, yeah.
So, yeah. Zyg in. We'll see if Doth
Still
has stayed
VSC
out.
conditions here. This is going to hurt Dylan massively.
For
Or,
Packer,
sorry,
you
Packer,
mean?
yes. Packer
Yep.
will hurt Packer massively. So some guys stay out here. Some of these guys that pit early on the...
And look at that. Dylan's only 11 seconds behind his teammate. That is just really, really...
Aerostrike, GP, Doth. I think all these guys are within Packer's pit window right now.
Yeah, Doth obviously stayed out. He had pit earlier, same with Mr. Joshua. GP, though, still on the tires he started the race on, has elected to stay out, so maybe... I'm not too sure what the strategy could be, but maybe waiting for another VSC, maybe another safety car, which will help him gain ground on the guys he was with.
So the closest battle right now, Zyg and JXW. Let's get to that. JXW pressuring Zyg.
Packer
Zyg on fresh tires, though.
is in the pits.
Let's see where Packer comes out. We
Dylan
know that
picks
Dylan's
up
going to get
3
him.
seconds.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
Runs very wide. You can tell he's pushing, but that would have cost him. Packer just entering the pit box now, so Dylan obviously clears him. Arrow's definitely going to clear him.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Arrow coming through turn 1. Packer coming through the exit of the pit lane, and Arrow just barely gets ahead of him.
Great stuff from Arrow there. That was a great call to pit.
Yeah.
Gave him the advantage he needed over Packer. Packer must have been pushing like a madman to only be that far behind Aerostrike.
Yeah. We do have Doth now, right behind GP Colin. Doth, I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and take these tires to the end, so...
Very much a Doth thing to do.
Yeah, this could be his actual position.
Yeah, and especially given
right
that
now.
GP is going to have to pit for sure. I mean, there's no way GP's going to the end on these tires. So Doth doesn't even need to force this, but obviously doesn't want to lose any time behind to Mr. Joshua.
Yeah.
Packer trying to hang on, but those tires not quite up to speed yet. Aerostrike is pulling away a bit. Take some curb as well. Very risky move in the rain, in my opinion. I barely touch those curbs when it's wet.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance you have to reach. Doth is really hounding GP right now. And very aggressive on the entry. Gives you a better angle on the exit. GP does seem to have gotten himself a good launch.
Here comes Doth,
out
though.
of turn
Doth
1.
is flying.
Yeah. He's gonna wait. He's definitely gonna
He's not even turn the engine up yet here, so Doth can definitely get this done.
Looks a bit more confident, but GP though again, really good traction out of turn 3 there, and that should definitely see him ahead. Likely
Packer
the rest of this lap.
Has closed on Arrow as well here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get to that battle.
Move done. These two are 1 and 2 in the championship. If Arrow can hold position, I mean, it's a tall ask to defend for 16 laps, but it would obviously help his championship aspirations. Again, chip away at that deficit. So Packer obviously looking very.
Comes Doth, and GP is pit. That's why Doth is through. Packer with a very aggressive line through there, and that paid off. He gained at least a half a tenth there.
Arrow does take a slightly defensive line.
Yeah, he does, and that nearly put Packer's front wing into the rear tire of Arrow. Packer just sort of biding his time.
If he can send it, yeah. No, again, Arrow doing well. Putting up a staunch defense. Obviously, this is allowing Dylan to kind of continue to build his lead, but...
Yeah, this is the real battle, though. Like, this matters more than Dylan winning. At least for Arrow.
So, Arrow, really strong through the second sector there. You can see he gained a bit of time. But Packer really just was a bit more aggressive in his wing set. It seems like he's getting up to speed a bit quicker and definitely taking time out on the straights. Obviously, Arrow could also be harvesting, but he does again. Attacks turn one very aggressively, but not quite as close as he was last lap. Arrow shouldn't have to go defensive. This off gets a penalty. And Mr. Joshua has now closed up right behind him. I could also see Mr. Joshua trying to take these tires to the end of the race.
Yeah, and if you look at the drivers around him, if Camden starts to struggle to close that gap, then I think it's definitely worth a shot. But if he starts to get just hounded and he can't really fight back, then you maybe consider pitting.
JX
I don't know if
has gone off. He's spinning, looking for traction down the pitch straight.
You gotta remember it's a very short lap here as well, so even if we get to lap 32 and it starts to come over, like, hey, maybe the drives are gonna work, is it gonna be enough to make up the deficit from taking a pit stop?
Yeah. No, definitely, a lot of factors still to consider. On the run up to turn 3 up the hill, the clouds over there look pretty, I think there might be a break in the clouds there as Bobby goes off as well, and him and JX keep trading places, but it's
off pits
from blunders on either end, so maybe feeling the pressure. Definitely,
maybe thinking I should cover Mr. Joshua, because if it stays wet the rest of this race, they're both gonna more than likely need to pit anyways. So
yeah,
maybe covers a potential undercut off. Zai goes through.
Pack here. And he gets a lot of wheel spin on the exit, but he is closing.
Just going to be tight between Doth and GP. Look at this. Oh, GP goes through. Here comes Jinnit. Can Doth hold that place?
Yeah,
Jinnit
I don't think Jinnit will
maybe
try anything too aggressive. Obviously now as a reserve. He does take a little peek, but he didn't really send it.
No, he probably would have thought about sending that if it was legit.
Yeah,
if we know Jinnit, that would have been a send, I feel.
So I think, yeah, he's just kind of been like, doesn't want to interfere. He's been a good reserve when he reserved with us in T2 before, so he's quite mindful of.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth, like, you take a place when it seems like it's open enough to get it done safely, but don't do anything silly.
Exactly. So, again though, Arrow, he's not getting away, but he's doing a stellar job on traction in the corners that matter most. Pack locks both front tires. Arrow though goes a bit wide, so this might be a good opportunity, but Packer, I think, a little too greedy on the throttle there. And see the back end get a little, yeah, upsets the back end on the exit of turn 3, so. Camden, though, also now closing on Mr. Joshua. Again, I don't know what tire wear is like, especially on these intermediates, so I don't know if it's even feasible that Mr. Joshua takes these to the end, but he doesn't plan on doing it. He definitely has to lap, or pit now, I believe, if he wants to still challenge Doth. Is JXW off again, I believe. Let's get off the road. Bobby's going to take that position back, so battle continues between Bobby and JX.
Yeah. Who can keep it right?
Who can keep it steady? I will say though, in races like this, it's very frustrating to keep going. So I do commend both drivers for sticking it out. And you never know what could happen. You really never know.
Oh, so. Packer with a huge moment. That's cost him a couple tenths there. Arrow just scampering away down the straight now. So Aerostrike doing well, that staunch defense paying off, and now he's got a bit of a cushion here to Packer. Let's see if he can build on that. Packer not going to get as much of a toe down these straights now as he's slipping away.
Yeah.
Camden pressuring Mr. Joshua still as well.
Yeah, and again, doing a fantastic defensive job here in fourth. Also battling Camden for third in the standings. So, I mean, again, these points and these positions do matter. Dylan sets a new fastest lap here in the race at 1:12.5. So, don't think that's necessarily due to the track conditions improving. Probably just felt good, felt confident there. So Camden now again, really pressuring Mr. Joshua. 10 laps to go. Can he take these tires 30 laps? Camden again gets a wicked exit, but not quite enough. If I'm Camden, I think...
Oh, bit of a moment there.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Joshua definitely gets a little wide on the exit. But if I'm Camden, I think I just sit back for a few laps. You don't really have much threat from behind. And if T-Money does start to gain, you want to make sure you actually have some battery to defend. So I would really bide my time, turn the battery down, and just see how Mr. Joshua handles himself over these next lap, 2-3 laps. Of course, in saying that, T-Money has taken 4/10 out of Camden that last lap.
So here comes Camden. He is right on the tail of Mr. Joshua. Is he going to be able to do anything? This looks like a potential overtake here. Let's take that timing sheet off the screen there so we can see a little bit more of the action. Camden thinking about it. He's so close. He just can't send it from that distance. Maybe into the... after this little straight here, he can give it a go. It looks like he's got a very good exit here. Mr. Joshua struggling for traction out of that corner, it seems. Camden's close as he's been. Is he going to send it? He's thinking about it, but no. Thinks better of it.
Close enough, yeah. Oh, and Mr. Joshua's gone off.
Doth has made a move on GP here, or trying to. GP is fighting it back. Is Doth going to get through? Doth down the outside, trying to sweep across. Great driving from those two, and Doth gets the place. Great stuff. Mr. Joshua recovering
falling
and Fuzz
down
takes
the
place
order
as well.
Yeah. We do have yellow flag in sector 1 as well. That's from JX retiring.
So a rare mistake from Mr. Joshua. Surely these tires just giving up on him. He's probably was trying to take them to the end, but realizes now that it's just not safe. Even if we get dry tires, it's raining too heavy for us to get under dries here, I think, today.
Yeah,
I think we're going to the end here on meters, so obviously he was holding out for something and it just never came.
And again, Packer just really stuck behind Arrow at the moment. Does seem to have a bit of pace in hand, but not a lot, and definitely not enough to make a move.
It's been almost the entire race. There's been solid action to keep an eye on, and now we've got a fight between Aerostrike and Packer going down to the wire here for second place.
Yeah. We have 7 laps to go here, and I can see this one lasting 7 laps. We'll keep an eye on some other battles as they occur, as we do have, looks like an Alfa Romeo off track. It does appear to be Zenith, so it does have enough room to turn around and get off the racing line. He does so. Mr. Joshua does go through into the points. He would have already had that point, but looks nicer actually finishing in the points. So
Smoglis
has retired. I believe he's so in the pits.
No, he's off the track.
Yeah, true. Zenith has pit, so Smoglis, where could he be?
He is right here where Camden and T-Money are. Let's see if we can get an angle on where Zem is.
We've seen a few
not
drivers.
See his car. No, it's been
it's
cleared.
probably removed. Yeah. a pretty common spot for errors this evening. I mean, Fuzz, T-Money, Camden, this battle we were paying attention to in the early portion of this race, still going on, but it seems these guys are pretty evenly matched. No one really gaining, pulling away, trading tenths, but yeah.
They've been hanging close for most of the Grand Prix here. Packer's starting to lose a little bit of time here to Arrow.
And Bobby is off again. I do just want to say, Bobby, if you're listening, we only need one more retirement for a point.
Yeah, that's true. Bobby can get a point here. He just keeps going.
Yeah.
It easily could happen.
Exactly. We've seen a lot of errors here today, so... As it stands at the moment, no real close gaps.
And just watching Packer and Arrow still, I've actually taken a lot of the user interface off the screen just so we can see a little bit more of the battle since there's not too much going on. So if you can let me know if T-Money and Fuzz get any closer together and I'll bring it back up.
Yeah.
It's just nice having these clear shots with nothing on the screen.
Yeah. Just a couple cars driving in the rain. Racing for
you know, for us, it's a couple of cars driving in the rain, but these two are probably shitting themselves right now. Driving. Like, I know if I was in this position, second, third, this gap, like this constant hounding from a driver behind, yeah, I'd be very stressed. I'm sure my hands would be cramped and I'd be icing my wrist the next day to relieve carpal tunnel.
As Dylan sets the fastest lap yet again, clearly edging out his previous time. We do have Fuzz just hovering around a second behind Team Money. Nothing too close at the moment. Hopefully not as close as Packer and Arrow. But he has closed in.
Nice chopper shot there. You see Fuzz chasing down the McLaren of T-Money. See if Fuzz can get into striking distance before the Grand Prix is over.
Yeah, it's still a lot of time. And pressure can change the way you drive. I do find personally it's a bit easier to drive if you've got a 2-second gap, maybe a bit easier to maintain, but...
T-Money's doing well to hang on to Camden as well. You see that Constantina effect a little bit, but T-Money's still reeling Camden in here. So this is not quite over yet. T-Money closing on Camden while he's built a bit of a cushion to Fuzz. Packer just stuck in that 6 to 8 tenths range behind Aerostrike.
Yeah.
Just can't quite make his way through. Aerostrike with a bit of a moment there out of the exit. Looked like he's struggling for grip, and Packer is gaining on him down the straight.
It's got to be seen as his best opportunity here.
Packer very close. Really? He's 3 tenths in. He's got this straight and the next to potentially take a stab at second place here. P2 is.
He does pull out. Thinks about it. Arrow does leave room on the apex. A little bit of wheel to wheel, but
Aerostrike covers it off though. It's very close here between these two. Great stuff from those guys.
And now, T-Money, very, very close to Camden. Moves to the outside. Can he hang it around the inside or outside rather?
He does. It's very tight here. They're still side by side.
Fuzz right behind Camden, tucks behind. Fuzz, I think, had to lift. We'll see if he can make a move down to the next.
Here comes Fuzz. He's sending it.
He does send
full
it.
Says for Fuzz. Full send for Fuzz. I said full send. Man, it's a tongue twister. But Fuzz is through. Fuzz is through.
Fuzz. And in a matter of 2-3 corners here, Camden finds himself down in 6th place. So, gotta say, fantastic race from T-Money so far.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. He's like knocking on the door of a podium here. I know he's one place out, but This has been his best performance of the season so far. Something I pointed out in qualifying that we haven't really seen him attacking that podium, and I was hoping to see it before the end of the season. He's 20 seconds behind it, but 4th place. That's a great result for Team Money if he can secure that. Happy to see him slowly returning to his former form. Always a quick driver.
Yeah, this battle I don't believe is over just yet. This Camden hanging onto the back of Fuzz.
And Aerostrike, I have to say, doing a fantastic job managing that gap to Packer behind. He's slipped up at times, but not enough to give away that place, and he's done well to regain his cushion every single time it's been in danger.
Yeah, seems to be quite strong through the middle sector. Is able to give himself enough of a gap to be able to defend through those 3 pretty long straights. So, we'll see now again, yeah. 2nd and 3rd, still scrapping. 4th, 5th, and 6th, still scrapping, and we have 2 laps to go. So, Packer, obviously, has to find some way through, but Arrow, again, just getting a wicked exit out of turn 2. Or turn 1, rather. What we can do here again. Yeah, just seems to be a touch more confident getting on the throttle there, and just really, again, yeah.
Making Packer it difficult. A bit of a moment.
Yeah, making it difficult for Packer to even get alongside him, so we've seen him take a defensive line a few times, but for the most part has been able to stick to the racing line and really just focus on the exit. Packer, though, this really does look confident still. Team Money has extended his gap to a 2nd over Fuzz. This is it, last lap. Packer now. He's going to have these next 2 straights, and these will likely be his last opportunities to get this done.
Yeah, he's got to extend it here, and a big bobble for Packer.
Yeah.
He's got one more. He's got one more straight here to go full send, and he looks like he's got everything turned up here. He's absolutely flying.
Looks like Arrow bit offline to defend, but Packer I think again, yeah, little wheel spin.
He's not close enough. I think he's going to have this covered. Aerostrike may keep this place.
Yeah,
Packer
now back to Fuzz.
Threatening.
Pulls out to take a little peek, and he's right behind Team Money again. So Team Money a bit wide on the exit. Oh, Fuzz!
Oh, big moment for Fuzz. Is that going to put him under threat from Camden?
Bottles the exit, but I think these 3 should hold steady. Packer. Back to
That's it
with Dylan.
For Dylan, he wins the Austrian Grand Prix here in Tier 1. First place for Dylan. What a great return for him. Aerostrike with a very excellent defensive drive. My driver of the day. P2 for Aerostrike. Holds off Packer for P3. T-Money leading the rest of the field here. P4 with Fuzz very close in tow and Camden behind. This is a great result for these guys. We've got T-Money bringing it home in 4th place. 1 more corner to go. The McLaren driver, T-Money, P4 on the day, Fuzz, P5, and Camden Luca in P6. What a great race from those 3. Excellent stuff there all the way to the end.
Actually does nick 5th off time penalties, so he does get ahead of Fuzz. We have both Ferrari drivers crossing the line now. GP Colin in the McLaren bringing home an 8th place finish, so he nixed off by half a second. So a good double points finish for McLaren.
Mr. Joshua picks up a point despite the fact that his race kind of fell apart on him there, and Jim in P11 as a reserve driver. Bobby tantalizingly close to a point here today. He hung in there. Commendable drive from Bobby, sticking it out to the end, trying to hang on to see if he can snag that point. T-Money, driver of the day, as according to the game. I don't know. You know what? T-Money, that's T-Money's best drive of the season, but Arrow's defensive drive was just outstanding. To hold Packer off, who I think was easily the second quickest driver here. Dylan just had pace right from the get-go. Quali, he had pace. The wet weather start at the beginning, Dylan had the pace. Packer, I don't think, was touching his teammate today. But Aerostrike did a hell of a job holding off the second fastest driver on the track today and brings it home for P2. That is the order. Dylan wins it. Aerostrike second. Packers third. T-Money's fourth. Camden fifth. Fuzz is sixth. Zyg is seventh. GP eighth. Dothan ninth. Mr. Joshua picks up the final point in 10th. Janet is 11th. Bobby's 12th. Zamoglis 13th. These guys all DNF'd. Zamoglis, GXW, Beck, Ryan did not finish the Grand Prix here today. That is it for Tier 1 on track this week. We will get the top 3 in for an interview in a brief moment. Pup Digital will lead that. Let me just send those invites out very quickly. Nobody can hear you anymore. Stop talking shit about Fuzz. Yeah, no worries. Where is Packer? I'll send Dylan. I guess underscore Dylan? I can't remember. IRO Dylan. There he is. Alright, those are the 3 invites. That is the podium. So these guys will be joining us shortly. We will ask them a few questions about the Grand Prix. I gotta say, Packer and Arrow probably exhausted after dueling it out for nearly half the race there. Alright, I think we got 2 out of 3 here. Just waiting on Aerostrike still.
I am back.
Puff is back. We're just waiting on Aerostrike, so he was P2. If you want to get things going, Dylan and Packer are both here.
Yeah, alright, sounds good.
There is Aero.
Look at that. Perfect timing.
Hello.
Hello. I don't even know what to begin with. Dylan, a bit of a lonely race for you. You had a fantastic quali right on the fringe of the 102s. You managed to start well, pulled out a nice gap, and then managed the safety car restart well, and yeah, pretty comfortable win. How do you feel about your performance?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Consistency wasn't quite there, but the outright pace made sure I actually got the win, and in quality as well. Just happy I got the win. First win in ZOR, I believe. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Congrats! I couldn't remember. You've had pace in the races that you've been here, obviously away for a few weeks. So nice return. I believe you also got fastest lap, so that would be pole position, race win, and fastest lap. So congrats to you. Looking to bring Haas to the top of the constructors, eh?
Yeah, that's the plan. Both Packer and I, yeah, I think Packer could have had P2 today. I think if he just didn't, if that VSC didn't come out, I think he would have been ahead of Aerostrike quite comfortably. And
the dirty air is so toxic, man. It's so bad.
and the spray, of course. So yeah, I mean,
I could see through the spray. It's just the dirty air in the middle sector.
So that's a good segue. We'll head to our second place finisher, Aerostrike.
Hey, that's me.
That's you. Why don't you talk us through it? It seemed as though you guys battled for what must have been 18 laps, 17 or 18 laps.
Yeah.
I think it was around 60.
I
Sorry,
hit lap 18.
16?
17 of the VSC came out, so yeah, 18.
Yeah, and then it took you a couple laps.
I was like a
I
second
think
behind when I came out.
Yeah, second and a half. But also, like, you fell back a couple times. So it was that. I don't know, it was just...
I love the competition.
I enjoy racing in the rain. I like it more because it actually like requires skill.
What are you trying to say, man?
Look, I'm just saying, if you can just flat out the whole lap pretty much in the dry, every single track, that's not skill. That's just putting your foot down.
You got lucky with the VSC, just saying.
I agree.
Yeah,
It
it helped, but he did a good job defending. Give him credit.
To be fair, like the three of us were all like kind of within like the same lap times. I could not get into the 12s. I was a bit too far out of my reach. My closest was 13:056 or something. So gotta give props to Dylan for those laps, those fastest laps.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, my consistency was quite shocking, to be honest. I was one lap I was in the mid-13s, and one lap I was in the 12s, and just it was really inconsistent for me.
And there was one lap where you were in the 14s. I was like, yes, he's gonna fall back so I can pass him in with his penalty. And then you just put the fastest lap, and I was like, well, all right, I guess I'll stay here.
It was
inconsistent sometimes.
I wish my tire wear wasn't so high on the first stint, because I was actually thinking, hey, what if I zero stop this race? That'll be fun. Wasn't meant to be, especially with the VSC. Had to pit. So capitalize on that.
Yeah, we thought we may see someone try and go for it. Obviously,
I would have if at lap like 16, right before the safety car came out, I was at like 52% on the rear left. So if I was like around 40, I would have done it.
It would have been interesting to see. I think obviously, given how it did play out, very solid result regardless. I don't know. It's so difficult to overtake in the rain without the DRS. With those old tires, I would have been curious
at the start,
to see.
me and Camden went through half a lap side by side.
And we did see, obviously he's not here, but Mr. Joshua, he pit under the first safety car, lap 6, to repair wing damage. It seemed he was going to try and take his set to the end, but he did have a bit of a moment. So,
That's
it would have been interesting.
Stuff, so it
would have been, for sure. But to get an idea, it would have been interesting to see. And he was on pace. He was in P4 before it happened. So, but we will move on to Packer. You were behind Arrow for about half of this race. We saw you attempt a few moves, took a peek a few times, but never really got quite side by side. You want to talk us through it?
But I mean, I knew I was gonna be slower than Dylan because I'm just pretty shocking in the rain compared to him. So I was more just focused on the guys behind. And then in the first stint, I started to catch or equal my pace to Dylan. And then the VSC came out, and I didn't want to double stack because I think I would have lost the position to Aerostrike if I had to. So I went on another lap, and then I pit, and I came out like a second behind Arrow, and then I was just stuck there the entire time. So.
Yeah, it must have been a pretty mighty in lap. I was kind of shocked the gap wasn't a bit bigger, but that did prove to be a bit of a turning point, and just so happened it was the perfect timing for Arrow. It does move him 3 points closer, which I believe puts the gap at 8 points.
7 or 8,
I just need my teammate to pick up the slack for the constructors. Fuzz.
Stop throwing shade at Fuzz, man.
He did give you a wicked toe.
Faster.
Did you guys coordinate that?
I mean, I came out of the pits right when he was going. It was kind of like convenience or like a coincidence. But even still, after I went by him, I was only up by 400s. So I mean, it was the rest of my lap that I got it, but it still helped. So
it didn't seem like Yeah, it helped, but it didn't seem like it gave the advantage we were expecting. But yeah, we saw that. We did give it a good shout on the,
Blame my
the
setup.
stream for some good good teamwork there. Well, can we see that in the future from the Haas team? Are you guys going to start, Dylan? Obviously, Packers fighting for the championship. Are you going to start giving him some toes?
Yeah, I asked Dylan before the race if he could give me pole and let me through, but that obviously didn't happen. But
My man.
yeah, Dylan was gonna give me toe on my last run, and then I invalidated at turn 1. But yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Dylan,
yeah.
do you think you can still fight for the championship? Do you think it's over? I believe we're just at the halfway point, maybe just past it.
I don't know how far behind I am, to be honest, but if I am able to attend all the races, then I believe I have
70 points.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I am gonna possibly miss a race.
So,
and, Packer, are you gonna miss 3 or 4 races? Is that what's gonna happen?
Well, I thought before going into Baku, I had like a 50-point lead. I was like, okay, I could take a race break, you know, just chill. And then the last few races happened. But yeah. So I think Dylan going to France, you're like 80, 85, I think, back on me. So we're going into tonight.
Yeah.
Well, quick math. If you win, 10 more races, and gain 7 points on races. Packer, if he finished second every race, you would still lose the title. So it's a tall order, but you know what? What's the likelihood of, you know what? If you got fastest lap every race too, you could win it. So there's hope.
Not much.
And you never know. Sneak a couple second places in there and help you out.
Away last race.
I'm sure Dylan can bottle at least once or twice.
What do you mean? I haven't bottled ever. Okay.
The other ones, Dylan. There's more your internet, but we don't have to talk about that. More your internet.
That was a win as well. Just saying.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, you were behind me.
Yeah. So easy overtake.
China
was.
No,
China was a win as well. China was a win as well. China was an more obvious win.
But, I really don't have any more questions. I don't know if to add.
No, I'm all good. I just want to go watch some football. To be honest, I'm done with my broadcasting duties for the night.
I think that's the exit cue.
Answer. Yeah, you get the fuck out of my party.
So we do have a full week of Austria still left to go for ZOR. PC races tomorrow. They might actually be, what was the race last week? France. PC might be in France. But T2 Thursday we will be in Austria, and then EU on Sunday also in Austria. And then as always Monday night 8 p.m. we will see Tier 1 action, and we will be in Silverstone. So very exciting, looking forward to that, and very high potential for rain again, so you never know.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But thanks guys, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Hopefully everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving was
no, everyone Thanksgiving except for the US, I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think Thanksgiving is even a thing outside of colonized countries though. Like what? Do we even
Thanksgiving is like for
we
the
still
harvest.
have like a month and a half till Thanksgiving. What are you guys on?
We're on some good shit. It's actually legal marijuana.
Okay. Too far.
Sorry, I don't partake.
Yeah, you can't
say that on the stream.
You
have to edit that out.
Yeah.
Hire a video editor.
I should have ended the stream.
I could
what
do
the
that.
hell? Yeah, you can actually. This guy's an editor as well, so you can you can censor your own comments now. Anyways, as Puff mentioned, we got Austria the rest of the week in our various tiers. Next week we go to Britain for Silverstone. We will catch you next time. I am Biga. It has been another great race here for Tier 1 in ZOR. Puff Digital alongside me tonight, and hopefully again next week. We will see you for Britain. Good night.